I'm on a journey to get better, and I want to do it with you. And I'm not just focusing on physical health, I'm focusing on everything: emotional wellness, spirituality, finances, relationships, and so much more. Every week, it will be my personal goal to bring us, the world's leading healers, experts, and game changers, to share groundbreaking secrets and tips to getting better in all areas of life. Getting better isn't easy, but it's a whole lot easier when we can do it together. Welcome to Better Together with me, Maria Menounos. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Better Together. When you know better, you get better. Our quote of the day: the world is always going to be dangerous, and people get badly banged up, but how can there be more meaning than helping one another stand up in a wind and stay warm? Did I just say that right? Because something doesn't smell right here. Hold on, everybody. On my Instagram Live and all of you on YouTube. The world is always going to be dangerous and people get badly banged up, but how can there be more meaning than helping one another stand up in a wind and stay warm? Oh, it's kind of like one of those.
It's like a weird poetic
It's like a poetic thing. Because I was like, did I read this shit wrong? All right, Better Together. Here we are, guys. We are broadcasting daily. And starting next week, we will come up with an official time. It'll probably be 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. We'll be deciding very shortly. If you haven't joined our Patreon, please do. We're going to be doing 2 shows a week there. And for all of you out there, I hope you're staying safe. I hope you are quarantining. I hope you are overwashing your hands. Use the Dr. Oz method. Study it. It's unbelievable. And you really twirl on your thumbs and your fingers, you get to see how grimy you really are, even after you've washed your hands 1 billion times. And start zinking up as preventative measures. That's what we've been doing here in the house. So join us on our Patreon at any level, obviously. And we have some really cool stuff we're going to talk about on the show. So if you are on Instagram Live right now and you want to join us and you want to be better together with us, go to my Instagram stories, swipe up, and join us on YouTube. Bye, guys. All right. So, for all of us here on YouTube already, thank you for joining us. We are excited to be with you guys every day. It is, as I said yesterday, becoming my sanity zone where I can shut down and just talk from my heart and help all of us get through this. I was thinking yesterday, I got off the phone with my mom's doctor. So she had her appointments for her infusions at the cancer lab yesterday at Cedars-Sinai. And I could tell the doctor wasn't wearing a mask. I was on speakerphone with him. And Kevin had taken my mom. He was like, you stay home. I'm taking her. Kevin, ever the warrior. And I was like, they don't have masks. So I started thinking, and I don't know if you guys have watched this, but for anybody who's nervous that they don't have a mask, right? You can make your own masks out of bras. Crazy YouTube video. It's amazing, and stuff will include it in the summary. But if you take a bra, you can use the strap and it goes around your face, and you can put a coffee filter and some citric acid. So I ordered some citric acid. I was going to make some for our doctors. I was like, how weird. Can you imagine my doctors wearing my bras on their faces? Hey.
No. but I was like, I don't see anyone complaining.
But I hung up the phone, and there was even more kind of jarring information from that call because my mom's blood platelet count is low, and that could be a side effect of the chemo. It's a little scary. And I just said, so her next appointment's in 4 weeks, right? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, 4 weeks? We're going to be in a pretty bad place. And so it was kind of scary trying to anticipate if she's going to be able to be cared for in 4 weeks, right? And so when I hung up the phone, first thing I was thinking of was like, okay, how do we get masks to doctors and nurses? So at first I thought I was going to create an assembly line of my neighbors, like folding tables outside, everyone distanced, everyone gloved, everyone masked and sanitized. We would make our own masks so we can, thoroughly wash everything and mass produce. And then I saw Bethany Frankel on Instagram creating all these kits, and I believe she had something about masks. I don't know. I called her, and that woman is a gangster. We instantly started putting some plans together to raise funds to create masks. She has a manufacturer. I'm checking in to see the quality of the masks first, because I want to make sure if anyone's donating, and if I'm asking any of you to donate, that the masks are of the highest quality that we can find right now. She's currently thinking they're going to be about $5 each. And so I know that everybody wants to help in any way they can. And so I was like, if everyone just donated one, right? There are 15,000 employees at Cedars-Sinai right now. We can give everybody a mask. And so anyhow, I think I'm working on that. So behind the scenes, we've now shifted from bras to true masks, and I'm working on that. And yeah, it's crazy to think that the people who are going to be taking care of us don't have the proper things they need, and to know that this was not taken into consideration by anybody. Like, how did we not, like, I'm stocking up thinking of us not being able to get medical supplies for my parents for a couple of months, right? And I'm like, I need to make sure my dad is okay and my mom is okay. That's me. How come hospitals and institutions weren't thinking, the government wasn't thinking about this when, coronavirus was starting to explode everywhere?
Totally. That's what a lot of people have been saying, is that we are not protecting the people on the front lines right now. And that is kind of the worst criticism I've heard right now of how the government is handling it. Is that lack of quick response with thinking like that.
Yeah. I mean, this is what I was saying. Now it looks like they're social distancing at the Trump press conferences.
So funny. I had to
Did you
tell
notice that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're finally practicing social distancing, and I thought that was good. But, if we lose them, who's going to take care of us? If we lose the doctors and the nurses, who's going to take care of us? The staff that's going into these hospitals that are risking their lives every day, like, we have to think about these things. And so, I saw John Bon Jovi, God bless him. He's working at, I think it was like a soup kitchen. I'm going to pull it up again. But anyway, and his caption said, do what you can. You had Dimitra yesterday on the show, who you saw has turned her restaurant into like a factory to help, create a food bank area so that they can send supplies of food and stuff to people that need it. The other thing I thought of, aside from just getting, the wealthier people I know to help donate big amounts of money, and hopefully the rest of the Better Together community, even if you could donate one mask, I mean, God, that would be a huge, huge deal. I also want to create a system to be able to help food shop for these doctors and nurses who are working around the clock and they're too exhausted. And there was an image I saw on social media of an ambulance worker in the store with an empty cart and empty shelves everywhere. Like, we have to take care of these people. And so, I don't know. I mean, maybe like we'll start cooking here for people and tell them they can come to the front yard and like I can have a buffet outside, and for like Encino Hospital, like, or whatever.
It's true.
I was thinking like of things like that. So I'm open to ideas, by the way, if you guys have ideas. But
Me too, because it's so cool, even with the bras, how resourceful we all are.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And we can continue being more resourceful. There has to be some way that we can build stuff or make stuff that...
Vacuum cleaner bags apparently are also good ways to make your own mask. So that's kind of where my head's been at. I've been, racking my brain trying to figure this all out, because I started, calling people yesterday to donate, and then realized, wait, I got to make sure the masks are effective, because I don't want to rally everybody and them not be the best masks possible and whatever, and at the best price point. So I'm like, I have to do a little quick research, but I am going to follow what a lot of the great leaders who have spoken, whether it's the World Health Organization, the Center for Disease Control, a lot of them have been saying acting immediately sometimes is better than acting like methodically, right? Like, you can't always think of, out of fear. You have to just go. And so I'm trying to do like the in-between of that.
It's a great point.
Yeah. Reaching for some water. So I think the other thing that we are going to do today is we're going to talk to Trevor Moawad, Steph, if you want to share with everybody a little bit about our friend Trevor Moawad.
Oh my gosh, yes. So Trevor is definitely a friend of the pod. He's been with us twice now, and he is one of the leading experts in mental conditioning, and he works with the most elite athletes, including Russell Wilson. And he's all about staying neutral and keeping really mentally strong through everything. But so right now could not be more of an important time to just stay neutral, because I know for me, I'm like pulling myself off the edge every 5 minutes. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what every average American is feeling. But he is getting on the line with us shortly. We are connecting via Skype. And yeah, he should be with us very, very soon.
Okay, perfect.
We do have some great people in the chat right now. I would love to call you guys out. And if you have any questions or things you want to talk about or ideas for us to make,
do it.
Let's do that. Megan Gallagher, loving the positivity. Thank you for watching. Michael August says hello. Keely Henry, hi. Roger Wolf, Nancy Parr. Nancy Parr says thoroughly enjoyed John Edward interview. A lot of people did, which was amazing.
He was amazing. I had no idea what we were going to get in that interview. I just felt like I needed to talk to him. And he had such an incredible take. If you didn't listen to the episode, it was Tuesday's episode, I believe, right, Steph?
Yes.
Tuesday's episode. And John Edward had such a great take on this. And if we can all listen to it and start to kind of meditate on it and put it into action, I think we are going to hopefully advance the speed of recovery with all of this.
Yes. Also, Michael August says, I just saw a story of a painter on Facebook who's donating masks to local medical offices. That's a good idea. Painters who work with spray paints and the highly flammable or chemical, those are professional masks.
So I have a friend who I talked to yesterday who was going to donate to my mask fund. And he knows somebody in the pharmaceutical companies that has a huge, hundreds of thousands. So we're trying to see if they've already been allocated somewhere, or if we can get them allocated. And so, I don't know. Right now, it feels like it's California, Boston, New York, and Florida is going to probably explode with the mad spring breakers.
Yeah.
But what other states are really affected?
Well, all 50 states are currently affected. That's a new thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
all 50 states, but mostly it's true. It's New York, California, Seattle, Washington.
Oh, yeah, Seattle. Yeah.
And Florida that's what some projections are showing.
Yeah, so I was going to go like state to state, figuring out the masks situation. Like you can earmark to your state. Here are the 5 states so that I'm going to raise this money for right now. And then you can tell me where you want it to go.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah. But we're still figuring that out. It is
Fun
just
fact,
a crazy
Trevor
time.
Moawad has we have to talk to him about this. He has 5 different Skype accounts with his name.
Oh boy. Oh boy. This is what you can be organizing in this time. Yeah, one of the things that's been going around everybody, and just so you can be safe, is be careful who you're opening your door to. Don't assume that they're there for good purposes. A lot of people have been putting out that there are people with hazmat suits going to people's doors, pretending to be testers. Listen, that might be propaganda, or it might just be giving criminals ideas now. So just be careful. And just,
that's a really good point, Maria. Sometimes it's like, it's so true. We need humor, and I can't wait for you to publish your newest TikTok.
Oh, it's published.
Oh, it's published. You guys got to check
is.
this out. It's so funny because that's, I think, the right type of humor, because you're still, you're not confusing people. And then when the hazmat, I'm all about a good costume, but I think it can be scary. Like we already are in kind of a distrusting moment.
Yeah.
So
okay, so actually it's not posted yet. It's posted in 2-1. It's now up. Okay, so my dad yesterday. So like I said, my head's exploding with, ideas and preparing and all of that. And so I was like, Dad, we're going to do a TikTok, because I was inspired. Someone had done a video about you can't touch things, and they had done like something where their fingers were touching things. And I thought of the song Can't Touch This quickly. And I was like, Dad, we're going to do a video. And so we had a lot of fun with it. And this is Trevor's music in my ears. And Trevor's live.
What up?
Hi, Trevor. We are live. Just FYI.
Well, hello to everybody who's getting better together with Maria today.
Trevor, is there any way you can flip around, even though we love the view, so we can see your
I
face?
was trying to get a view, but my lighting.
There we
There it
go. Yes. So Trevor.
You see Brad Pitt, Thelma and Louise?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for lying. But that's,
You know what I was sitting there thinking, and I'm like, I haven't seen it in a long time. Is he going to quiz me?
I'm no Kevin Undergaro, but I'm doing the best I can.
I love it.
How you guys doing today? What a wild time, mid-March 2020, huh?
I mean, 2020 is going to go down as maybe the worst year of our lives.
And we're 2 months in.
We're a couple months in. Trevor, tell us how this is going to turn around, please.
Well, it's interesting. First of all, I love the way that your note you sent me yesterday, Maria, where you're kind of like, Russell down 28 points, Green Bay Packers, and just says, I'm playing street ball, and just going to jump in and engage and help people. And I love being in the studio just because nobody really knows what to do, how to handle it. I was on with a huge pharmaceutical company earlier today, and they're doing like 30 conference calls a day, and their people are dying. And part of me is like, just let your people spend time with their families, navigate with their kids, get the homeschool set up, give people a week to orient, you're not going to fall behind. Talking with, the NBA, obviously, I've worked in the NBA a long time. Even Adam Silver, everybody's trying to get their bearings right now. Nobody really knows, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's interesting when you say let people get their affairs in order. Because I feel like for the people who have to keep working, that is really difficult. The doctors, the nurses, the pharmaceutical people, the people that are working at Walgreens, they're going to get stuff at the store and everything's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then that's where I think we have to rely on, obviously Maria, Steph, and myself being in Southern California. The one thing I like about being here is we're kind of in a high functioning place, but you've got to trust that our basic needs will be, if it's not one day, in the next couple of days, you're going to be okay. But I think the best way, in doing a lot of conference calls myself, and then really talking both at the NCAA level and the NBA level, and is just each day has a history and a life of its own.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the whole idea, Maria, and we've talked about it a lot, is I'm a huge believer in this idea of being neutral, which is, this is an incredibly difficult time to be positive because we just don't know enough about tomorrow right now. But there's no upside strategically to being negative. So you have to really give a day, 24 hours to kind of play out, however that's going to work for you, and know that tomorrow could be better. And I think the best advice I've been sort of giving people, and really trying to follow myself, I spent one day last week, one of my best friends, Billy Donovan, coaches Oklahoma City Thunder, and they all got rushed off the court, and they had to take the coronavirus test. And I'm texting him, he's in the locker room, and I watched 8 hours of ESPN, which had no idea how to cover a crisis. And I was so miserable at the end of that night about everything, because I consumed so much negativity unintentionally, because I was getting it from ESPN, not thinking if I watch CNN, MSNBC, Fox, I expect to want to go play in traffic. So I obviously, outside of a little bit of the press conferences, I'll watch a little bit of Dr. Fauci, I'll watch a little bit of Good Morning America, watch a little bit president, in my opinion, or other people, and that aren't going to be really good at helping you through right now. And ESPN kind of caught me off guard. So the whole next day I watched House of Cards, Jack Bauer 24, because I went to Vegas last week to speak to about 1,000 people, but I've had 7 events canceled or postponed. And then, the money I'm supposed to make at them because of force majeure contractually, I'm not getting paid either. So, it's just I guess one point, then I'll go back to some questions. But my dad used to always say, Maria, life really responds best to the people that answer this question the best. Like the 4 words, what can I do? And if what can I do is an exclamation point, we're in big trouble. If what can I do is a question mark, then we got a chance, to navigate this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love that. I love that
You know,
because it is such uncertain times. And if we
yeah,
actually spend more of our time giving, that's a ripple effect that's felt far and wide.
agreed. And like, what can I do as a wife? What can I do as a daughter? What can I do as a caregiver?
Yep.
I mean, you're one of the most amazing people in that way that I know, because you're taking care of your family, you're taking care of other people that nobody knows and you don't tell anybody about. Obviously,
Yeah,
you got
that's
to.
actually a point that's interesting you say, Trevor, because I wanted to mention this earlier. It's really easy to start pointing fingers at celebrities and yelling at them for trying, right? Like a Gal Gadot did a video and she had people singing Imagine, and it was her attempt to try to help, and it was very poorly received, and everyone's like, we want you millionaires to give us your money and stuff like that. And it's like, you don't know what people are doing behind closed doors, right? I do a lot privately that
Yep.
no one ever knows because
No.
I'm not sending a publicist, hey, I did this, put it out in the PR. That's how celebrities doing good gets out, is publicists put it out there. They take a picture of you with the cancer patient and they push it out.
Right.
And so a lot of celebrities remain anonymous. A lot of celebrities do things, and wealthy people, whatever, people do things every single day that no one knows. So this isn't a time to judge people. And I think that that's something that, is really hard for people. I know.
Well, but one of the things I also think when things do go public, like Russ and Sierra donated 1 million meals to the community in Seattle. And what I loved about that, and they went on Instagram Live and talked about it, but they had also, you and I both know this, it does apply some peer pressure
Yep,
to other athletes in their communities, like in
totally.
Aaron Rodgers, or other, like, what are you doing in Green Bay? Because 1 million meals, that's a lot of money. That's probably
Yeah.
5 million bucks.
Yeah,
You
there's
know,
the good side of this that helps inspire other people to step up. Look, when Kevin Love donated $100,000 to the stadium workers, other people stepped up and did it. So it is. I'm not saying that you shouldn't put it out there, because when you see it, you can be it. And when, there is a pressure cooker for celebrities, like they'll step up. The second people say, oh, that's where we should donate. Russell Wilson and Sierra donated here. Well, I'll donate there too. Or Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively donated. People want to help. And I think inherently people are good and want to do what they can with what they have.
yeah.
It's just sometimes you don't know what people are doing behind closed doors and then what they can truly handle. Sometimes because somebody's a
Um,
celebrity doesn't mean they have what you think they have.
yeah, and this is the way I also think. Life also sort of dominated by what we prioritize.
Hmm.
And I think right now, like if you're prioritizing your family, if you're prioritizing yourself, that's smart because we're being asked to do that, right? So like, I'll just give you my strategy. Like I hired my own private nurse to come every other day, to take my temperature, to monitor like, all my stuff. And
Because
I
you
told
just
you
had
not,
major surgery.
I just had, like very few people know, but I had, pretty significant surgery in my stomach. And so I'm like monitoring my wound nonstop. And I don't want to be, I went to double check with my surgeon last week to Cedars-Sinai, which is like the best on the planet. And I walked in and it was like, I felt like, everybody was coughing and I was so catastrophizing, panicking, and I was afraid to go get a haircut. So I hired like a barber to come meet me at like a third party place, because you still need a haircut. I mean, anybody looking at me right now is like, bro, that guy needs a haircut so bad. He's got like that George Clooney pre-ER. But, I think that, prioritizing yourself is important, because and your family, and the better you can do that, then you can help others. I think that that's important. So, and hiring like a private nurse is a good thing because it just, like I high five her every day. My temperature is 98.5, and then just things because it helps build my confidence because we never think, particularly late 30s, early 40s, you're not worried about health. I'm more key to it now because I had surgery. I'm 6 weeks removed from it, but I still have stitches that look like I was hanging out with Nipsey Hussle in Compton. Um, and it's Steph. Nipsey Hussle. I know you do.
Yes, I
Um,
do. Definitely.
but you have to prioritize yourself because then you can help others.
Yeah.
And the Bible says, "Love thy neighbor as thyself." My dad used to talk about this all the time, um, but he also said that's really the problem with the world today, Maria, is that we don't love ourselves, we don't care about ourselves. So how can we help or love anybody else?
Wow.
And so the Torah says, "Love thyself properly. Only then can you love other people." And right now, taking care of yourself, making sure you're safe, making sure you're monitoring your thing, making sure you're staying connected with your family. I feel 25 times better when Steph texted me just to get on the phone with you guys for 15, 20 minutes, just engaging with the world, because nobody wants to watch, 4 seasons of 24, as great as Kiefer Sutherland is, all day.
Well, it adds to the drama we're feeling. Like the first couple days of this, every so often I would get this like real tight, almost like someone was squeezing my chest in really, really tight. And then I'd have to like spread my arms really wide and take deep breaths that would fill my lungs as big as it could just to calm myself down because it gets to you. I realized I haven't been watching the news in years. And now I'm glued to it. And just like you said, even ESPN, no matter what you're watching now, it gets really, really scary and it's really taxing on us emotionally. And, listen, there are people who are now having to homeschool their kids. I know from doctors, from everybody who's having to do this, they're saying it's a shit show and it's not fun. And trying to control these kids all day long is a lot of work. Caretakers aren't able to go take care of people they were taking care of before. So now, my friend's uncle's having to bathe his own mother. And listen, we're going to do what we have to do. We're all survivors, but it's not comfortable. It's not what we're used to. Husbands and wives are going to be home together all day, all night. There's going to be fighting. And so there's a lot of things that we, have taken for granted in a sense, right? That now is going to continue to lay more stress into our lives. And so that's why I thought it was important, that we talk to you. And in fact, what we had scheduled for today, we were going to talk to Dr. Barbara Royale, who is the top pet veterinary doctor. And I really wanted to urgently know how pets can be affected and how they can affect us. And she got called into surgery and couldn't do it. And then I was like, oh my God, Trevor can help keep us calm. So what are your tips for the moms who are now having to homeschool, who have to deal with, all of the, again, it's hard to say like, oh, woe is all of us now. We have to do things that like our past generations had to do. We have the luxuries of daycare facilities and things that, other generations didn't have. But it is changing a lifestyle in a dramatic way, and it's very stressful. And when you're thinking worst case scenario, which Governor Cuomo in New York today was addressing, the difference in the term of lockdown than what used to be considered. He's like, yes, people in New Rochelle are locked down, but they're able to move around. Don't be afraid, because my biggest fear is that we're all going to go on house arrest, basically, and we're going to have to stay in our homes, not move, and not really have touch with the outside world. And what's going to happen then? And is this going to turn into The Walking Dead? Like, my mind starts to spiral. We're going to have to be self-doctors, self-police, everything. And, you start going down those rabbit holes, and I start to think of, how damaging this can be emotionally for people and how taxing. So how do you, as, by the way, congratulations, a best-selling author of It Takes What It Takes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wall Street Journal, and we just had another one yesterday. I don't know what they are, but I think like it's crazy. I think Maria, I think it was sold like 30,000 copies. So it's pretty
Damn.
amazing for someone with a 50 IQ. So I'm having fun with that.
I love it. Well, you'll probably get a lot more orders now because people need to know more than ever how to get to neutral. Because, like you say, getting to positive is such a bigger leap, but taking it to neutral is a lot more easy. So, how do we coach people right now through this crisis? Because it's like you can't tell them that things aren't going to get bad, right? Because we know things are going to get bad. Someone yesterday from Cedar Sinai said faith over fear. And I was like, oh my God, I love, love, love that. I got to Instagram that today, in fact. But how do we coach people in this time?
Yeah, it's interesting. In the last 3 days, I've talked to, from the sports world, on the leadership side, probably some of the more important people behind the scenes of making really big decisions in the NFL and in college football
Yeah.
and basketball.
There's going to be no NFL. Like, it's just not going to happen this season.
Well, I don't know that yet, but I think what I would say is everything that you're suggesting, like they're consumed with as well. I mean, nobody knows, and why don't people ever go to a doctor? Because they don't want to know the diagnosis. And anxiety has its most power over us when we don't know what to expect. And so that's why, learning, even from a sports psychology perspective, as I get, 8 national championships and going through that experience, the number one thing you want the players to understand is this is what the day is going to look like. This is the crowd, this is the atmosphere, this is your job, this is your role. Well, we don't know those answers right now, but we do know a lot of them, like homeschooling. This is what I would say to mothers right now and fathers, co-parenting, however that's happening, grandparents, one thing at a time. Like I would sit down and write down 10 or 15 things that are your priorities right now, going forward. So keeping the kids occupied, keeping them educated, keeping them, on task with their class schedule. Some schools and some school districts, some public school districts are doing 30 minutes. Some private schools are doing 8 hours, but I think you can only do one thing at a time. So, write those things down and then just build a short-term strategy to cross off one thing at a time. And when we went to Florida State University or Georgia or any of these programs, you can't do, 15 things at a time, Maria. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and also I think it's good to like divide the duties in the house, right? Like everyone really needs to know their role right now. Like Kevin's the forager. We send him out. We don't leave the house. We send him out, and he's the one who forages for food or supplies or takes someone to the doctors. I mean, I took my dad the other day, but that was because I needed to really understand how to use his pump to help him. But I think creating a schedule is really important, and we're going to get some parenting experts on the show next week to help people with this as well. But I think that's such an important point, is when you don't know what to expect, right? That's where the real fear is, and trying to get people to not focus on that, but be prepared for it is where I'm kind of coming from. It's like, let's prepare for the worst as best we can, and then hope for the best and operate from a good place. Like I'm doing funny TikToks with my parents because I can see my dad's face is getting a little stressed. And part of that is he's, trapped in the house and he can't really do much. Yesterday he drove to the park and sat in his car. But, with my mom and the stuff that we're dealing with her, it's really scary. And so I was like, okay, we're going to do some funny TikToks and dance like stupid heads, and all the other people who are dancing like perfect were the opposite. But we're having fun and we're laughing, and I think that's so important. So I keep telling everyone, laugh as much as you can, because there might come a point where we're not able to laugh for a little bit. I don't know.
Well, I guess what's the strategic upside of preparing for the worst in your opinion?
For me, preparing for the worst is so I don't get caught with my pants down, right? I don't get caught in a place where I don't have medical supplies for my dad and I have to watch him die, right? Or my mom.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm thinking of is I will not. I've worked my whole life, Trevor. When I say my whole life, I mean it. From a young kid, a little girl, my whole life I've worked to keep my parents alive and healthy. I will be damned if I let them go with this. So I'm making sure they're stocked up with their supplies, that we're thinking ahead. Today I had the vision. I was like, okay, what if we can't get more supplies for his pump and we need to manually test his blood sugars and manually give him insulin? And so I was thinking of those things, right? Like, do we have enough of that stuff as a backup? And I mean, listen, there's only so much I can do. My mom has to go to Cedars to get infusions. If that is impossible at some point, then I'm just going to have to rely on faith and God to protect her in this time. But those are the things that I think
but that
of.
won't. Cedars-Sinai is the best in the game, with UCLA. Like this is my challenge. I agree with you, and you are going to be prepared. Like, you're Maria Menounos, like, you're going to be prepared. But emotionally, preparing for the worst takes a huge psychological toll. It's almost like, 50% of a drain of your cell phone battery than having the rest of the day to talk on your phone. So, like, my challenge is, like, the more prepared you are, the more confident you are.
Yeah.
Like, the whole idea of self-esteem, people make fun of self-esteem, but healthy self-esteem means you can handle life, and I think, hey, I'm prepared. Like, Kevin and I have done everything we can to prepare for this challenge. And if I'm listening to this right now, and I'm part of the 2-3 million followers that follow Maria Menounos, and Better Together with Maria Menounos, like, confidence is not words. Confidence is not magical thinking. Confidence, and I'm talking about the best military operators, the best business people. I'm talking about the best sports world. Confidence is the belief that you're going to be able to meet the demands that the task requires. So if the pump has a challenge, you're going to be ready. If Cedars-Sinai has an issue, and I call it Cedars-Sinai because I still have some follow-up that I got to do with my surgeon. And I wanted to know, like, hey man, I'm not coming there.
Yeah.
If I'm some lady that looks like she's an X-File, sitting down next to me because I'm waiting, and I'm like, what precautions are you taking? And they're like, no visitors.
Yeah.
Like, ID'd at the front, and you're coming in for whatever you need, and then you're getting out. Like, mine's all connected to stitches. And I said, all right, I can
no
handle that.
visitors, huh?
No visitors.
Oh my God. So people are in the hospital alone.
But they're kind of only letting you in, Maria. Like, you're going in, and they're getting you in and out.
Yeah.
Like, I have like a 30-minute post-stitch thing. So my guy Sean, who works with us at Limitless Minds, he'll drive with me. He'll wait for 30 minutes, and then I'll be in and out and go. And I'm going to have no interest in being there that long. But, like, education is a weapon right now.
Yeah.
So now I understand that. Now I know about Cedars-Sinai, so I'm not worried. And I know they're not going to close the doors. And your mom doesn't have an elective issue, nor does your dad. So they're going to be good to go.
But I've already heard people who have been diagnosed who've had tumors removed, and they've biopsied them and said there are cancer cells in there, and their MRIs were canceled to see if there's cancer in their body. Like, they're like, sorry, that's elective now. And it's like, so I might have cancer and it's elective? Like, so now I just have to wait it out?
Yeah. And that's where you just have to have faith, like, that you picked good people and you trust, and that the timing, may be a little bit longer. But what I'm saying is, there are people, like, one of the professional teams I'm working with came up with this idea during this window: win the wait. Like,
ooh, I love that.
That's a good one.
Like, there are going to be people that are going to win this time frame.
Oh yeah, I'm winning this wait.
They're going to win it.
Totally.
And then, and then at the end of it, their concept was worth the wait. Like, it was worth the patience and the way. And I was having a conversation with one of the teams. How do we keep people motivated right now? Well, it's really hard to stay motivated because you don't know when you're starting again.
Yeah.
Professional league. But stay the course, stay on the mission. I think that's what really matters right now. That's what we need to do. And that's what I think's in our control. What you're doing every day is you're making time. Like, you also have a really cool movie theater. So I think, like, you have a cool opportunity. Like, last night I watched Rising Sun. The day before I watched The Fugitive. I went to Oscar winners, like a young, handsome Harrison Ford. And I don't want to watch 8 hours of movies, but like, why not engage? I haven't been able to watch The Fugitive in years. So my challenge is, like, how do you have a really cool balance? Just like I was talking to some of my business partners, like, why are you getting up at 6? Get up at 9. And they're like, oh yeah, get up at 9, sleep an extra 3 hours. And then, you don't need to, there's no plane to get on right now.
Yeah.
I just think, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. And we all have an equal opportunity to be unequal through this process.
Wow. I love that. I love that. And I do agree with when the weight, we were at AfterBuzz, we shifted instantly and went to programming where everyone could do it from their quarantined homes. And we are the only ones in our space that have been able to continue broadcasting safely and here as well. And so for me, it is about winning the weight and staying active and positive through this. I don't want to be sitting on my couch eating nachos every day because, by the way, I'm doing it at night anyway. So if I'm doing it during the day and the night, I am definitely going to be headed for another TV show we don't need to name. But yeah, we do have some questions from our chat, Trevor. So Megan Lynn wants to know, between the good stories and the bad news coming out of this every day, I feel like I'm constantly swaying from one emotional extreme to another. Damn, I agree. How do you find balance?
So, you have to understand the basic fundamentals of psychology. Like, there's not a fair balance between negative and positive, because negativity impacts us 70x to positive messages. I mean, so our whole political narrative, Maria, you and I have talked about this with Kevin, and with AfterBuzz, like, a negative message is just so much more powerful than a positive message right now, and they're not even close to the balance. So you have to really manage your intake right now. It's the best advice I could give. Like, who are you talking to? How do they impact you? What are you watching? How does that impact you? What are you listening to? How does that impact you? Who are you spending time with? And how does that impact you? So to expect to be balanced, was it Megan who asked the question?
Mm-hmm.
To expect to be balanced, Megan, right now, if you need to balance your uplifting intake at about 7x to your scary intake, you need to know what's going on. You need to be educated. But like, for me, I listened to Governor Cuomo one time,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt like I was watching, like, Contagion. Like, so scary. So, like, but I don't live in New York.
Yeah, he pulled back his comments today. Today he was saying this is not going to be what you're thinking. It's not going to be the Holocaust. It's not going to be this lockdown where you can't leave your homes. And so it was I didn't get to hear the whole thing, but I heard through a friend because I was
Producing.
But you know what I mean? Like, Eric Garcetti matters. You know what I mean? Like Mayor Garcetti, Gavin Newsom,
Mm-hmm.
like, they're relevant. So, like, what's the information that, like, Lou Holtz, the head coach of Notre Dame, would always talk about what's important now. So I think the balance is, how are you consuming your content? Should you be getting it from the BBC? I'm watching local, KTLA, NBC, just basic information, and because you do need to know what's going on.
Yeah.
So I think that that's important, and really, go on walks, good balance. I had a surgical procedure, so I can't go down to the Strand as much, but still doing 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Balance your behavior. Like, keep balanced behavior in terms of watching, listening, moving, exercising, talking, and I think your life will be more balanced if you behave more balanced.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I think kind of keeping a routine is important. So it's like we stay in shape, not just physically, but emotionally. It's like, okay,
Yes.
I'm going to get up, I'm going to do my run, I'm going to have my, breakfast, I'm going to, watch a little bit of news, because it is important for us right now to keep updated. Because like today, it started coming out that younger and younger people are becoming seriously ill. And guess what? They're the ones that really need to know this, because, not all of them, of course. I've seen millennials taking it very seriously. Thank you. But, we need to keep hearing the newest information. And so staying up to date is important, but like keeping a limit to it. Then go off and do something fun. Watch a funny movie, meditate. I said to everybody in the last couple of days, this is such a great opportunity. If you don't have to work right now, what an incredible opportunity to better yourself in the areas that you didn't have time to better yourself in before, to take up a new hobby, to learn something new, to study something. I think it's you have to find the good in everything, even these horrible crisis moments.
Yeah, and I have a friend that works for ABC that was on Good Morning America yesterday, and she was up covering the everything going on in Seattle, and came back and woke up one morning with achy, and was diagnosed on Monday with coronavirus. 34 years old, but physically strong, really healthy, and now she's like 90% of the way through it,
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of people are. A lot of people will have it and never even know they have it, which is the whole idea behind social distancing. But she's isolated and all the different things. This thing isn't going to choose people or choose lifestyles. I mean, it's it's going to happen. But I also watched how she handled it on Good Morning America. Like, she never panicked.
Yeah.
She got the information, and navigated it. So that's why information is really important. Even for me, like high-fiving when I get my temperature, like who knows what's right or what's wrong, but you're monitoring and controlling the things that you can. So information is power, but consumption is more powerful than information right now.
Yeah.
And and you can't go to church, right?
I know.
You can't do some of the things that we really rely on. If I walk into church for 10 minutes as a Catholic, I walk out, I feel like 100 times better just for the fact I was there. And now, you can't really do that. So you have to adapt and adjust where you're going to get your sort of uplifting messages.
The Church of Better Together.
Church Better Together, but I think there's, you have an audience, Tom Bilyeu, different types of people, Simon Sinek. I saw some stuff Simon did. We're doing the same thing. Russell's doing a lot of Instagram Live, Limitless Minds. We're learning, how to do different types of things. But I can't tell people enough, Maria, that we are in control of what we consume.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be don't be an idiot right now.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking of this morning was that yesterday a friend of a friend's got corona and got diagnosed with coronavirus, and the doctors told her to stay at home and that they can treat her over the phone or talk to her over the phone, because there's no treatment necessarily. And so I thought about it for a second. I said, I think in the other countries, they didn't have the benefit, obviously, that we have of kind of now seeing what's happened. And maybe we'll be able to keep people in their homes and treat over the phone and eliminate the amount of people who are going to flood our hospital systems, to leave it to the most vulnerable people. And perhaps we won't have the crisis that we would have if all of these people were just rushing to their doctor.
Yeah, that's look, that's where education's a game changer, and that's where, we're going to learn, because we have examples of countries that have done it well and countries that haven't.
Yeah.
Now we can't, implement martial law and some of the other things, but to wake up this morning and find out that China didn't have one new incident yesterday, that's a really big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And that couldn't be a more underreported message.
Yeah.
Right. So, or that 85,000 people have fully recovered,
Yeah. That's if they're telling us the truth too, because they didn't tell us the truth from the beginning. So maybe they're not telling us the truth now. Who knows?
who knows? But there's places that you can go that you can trust. Like I trust Robin Roberts is going to tell the truth, and then I don't have any expectations for our president, nor not bad or good. It's just
It is what it is.
it is what it is. And then like I talked to multiple stockbrokers today, and that I work with, 19,000 versus 30,000. Like there's a new normal. You have to adapt, and you have to be really strategic.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be really smart. I just think right now, you and I talked about it. I think there's 4 levels of functionality. People are unconsciously incompetent, and that means they don't know that they don't know. And that's a really difficult place to be right now, where education-wise, like you're not listening, you're not paying attention, but you think you're knowledgeable, right? That's how our president is sometimes. And then that next phase, which is consciously incompetent, where you get the education, but maybe you don't apply it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Unconsciously competent is where we can have really big moments, but we don't know why we're good or why today went well. And then I think consciously competent, Maria, is where we need to be striving to get to, which is I understand what I need to do to make today effective. As a parent, as a husband, as a wife, as a business person, like why be upset if everything's a conference call or a Zoom meeting, if that's the new normal?
Yeah.
People are going to be successful in Microsoft Teams. And your podcast, you might gain 1 million followers and you might gain a whole new audience because you're engaging every day, in doing what you're doing right now. And which is cool. I watched you guys maybe yesterday or 2 days ago, just because I wanted a good message.
Yeah. We have a question from the chat, actually. Well, we have a lot of questions, but one technique, they're asking for one technique we can do when we feel like we're losing control.
Yeah. So I'm a big believer in externalization. So when you feel like you're losing control, really monitor your external language. I really think the internal thoughts are challenging. Maria, you and I have talked about meditation and some of those things, but like the first thing is, how am I talking about my life right now?
Ooh, yes. So easy to forget.
How I speak about my life predicts and perpetuates my life.
Thoughts become things.
Words become things more powerfully, 10 times more powerfully than thoughts do. So don't worry about your thoughts right now. Worry about your words. So I think that's the number one thing right now, what I'm saying out loud, because Maria, Kevin, Stephanie, Gal Gadot, we're always in control of what we say out loud. And I found myself, Maria, a couple of days ago on the phone, like talking for 20 minutes about this haircut thing. and rather than like, I'm going to be okay. Like I can get a freaking haircut.
Yeah. You can cut it yourself.
Right.
When it gets there, we're going to have to, we're all staying away from everything at this point because you just can't, you can't risk it.
Right. So, but that's what I think, monitor your externalization right now. There's internal consumption, but there's external output. And your own words are contagious to the people around you, just like they're contagious to you. And like I have my buddy, the CEO of MGM Studios, one of them runs, the Clippers. Like I still have buddies that are coming over because you can be in groups under 10. I've got a good friend that's recovering from breast cancer that's coming by, every other day. But I never have more than 3 people over here.
Yeah.
And we just kind of hang out and we're talking, and then we watch movies and we're going to get through this. We're people that need other people. So stay engaged with the world, but really be mindful of how you're talking about March 2020.
Yeah. How are you coaching your athletes during this time? That's another question from the chat. I think it's a great question. Be curious to know what you're telling them.
Yeah, I've had a lot of those conversations, really a lot of text messages. So I'm very mindful of like how I'm texting because post-divorce, my text game's gotten better. But I would say the Major League Baseball guys are still in the cadence of kind of the off season, so they're okay. Although one of them, that I'm close with, just had a colon surgery out of Johns Hopkins. and so you got all that kind of going on. But I would say in general, baseball players are okay right now, kind of navigating this process. The NBA players have kind of taken to video games, and then the video game community of playing against each other. Um, and they're still really under the belief that any week their season's going to start again.
No way.
Yeah, I think they still think that.
Wow.
The NFL, it is the off season, so it really won't be till next month that the guys really understand kind of what's happening. But I think in general right now, it's just minimizing anxiety. A lot of them come from tough socioeconomic backgrounds, so making sure they're doing the best they can to support their families. They feel just same way you do about your family, Maria. So they're just trying to really do a good job of controlling that and being as supportive as they can. And then I think there's just a lot of listening.
Yeah. Another question from the chat, Trevor, and again, we're with Trevor Moawad. He was named by Sports Illustrated as the world's best brain trainer, and he has an amazing book called "It Takes What It Takes" that's killing it on the bestseller list. Trevor, they're asking, what are you doing instead of church?
Yeah, it's weird. I haven't really adapted that well to that, like even with praying yet, because I'm more of a pray at church as opposed to a pray on my own. So I would say listening to Christian music on walks has been the only substitute to date. I went to some of the apps. Judah Smith is where I go to church typically in Beverly Hills, Church Home. But I don't like the app very much.
Got it. Yeah, Kanye's soon going to be creating a church online, I'm sure, so that will all be easy.
So I think try something.
Yeah. The last question I have for you, Trevor, and again, thank you for your time, is what are you doing to get better during this time?
I think what a great question. And I think it's just a matter of, I think we have to set goals for ourselves. So my goal right now, a lot of it, Maria and you and I have talked about it physiologically, is just get healthy and, navigate that. And so I can kind of win that battle right now by, resting, relaxing, recovering, getting the work on my wound, kind of all those things, and then exercising, walking. And then I've been sort of fortunate. Some of these things have been canceled just because it's made it, given me some more time to heal up. And then also adapting, like business-wise, what we're really doing is, and I was talking to my agent on the speaker's side, and I know you have a speaker's agent as well, like my group, Leading Authorities, is out of Washington, D.C. Like, how do you meet people in a relevant place right now?
Yeah.
So I want to get better. I want to learn how to do better webinars. I'm going to go into like Gardena to a studio on Monday and film a bunch of digital content. I may go down to San Diego with Russell Wilson, film a bunch of digital content, really talking heavily about neutral thinking, and it takes what it takes, and this idea of a negativity diet right now. So I think still challenging yourself to improve, but I think the real challenge for all of us in business right now, exactly what you're doing, you and Stephanie Maria, is coming up with a medium that's going to meet people in relevant places right now. So how do you talk to people through Microsoft Teams or through Zoom or whatever, and make a really dynamic, cool, engaging platform that's going to help people get better at Johnson & Johnson, at any of the businesses that we work with, or even from a professional sport platform. That's where I'm challenging myself, my business partners, to get better. We may not have a studio like you have, but how can we go to some place and take that next step? And I think that's people win the weight, right, Maria? Like win the weight. Like people are going to find a way to stay above water or get better through this process. And I think that's the challenge for all of us. Is how do you do that, but also manage your expectations relative to the circumstances.
I love it. Trevor, thank you so much. You get better.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. And I've always unabashedly a big Maria Menounos fan. Just your energy, your excitement, your enthusiasm. Like you have such an incredible enthusiasm, and now like my dad used to say the last four letters of enthusiasm, IASM, or I am sold myself. Like I control my enthusiasm, and it's hard to catch that from the world right now. So you're really giving off a lot of that, Maria, and I know in the last 20 minutes it's made me better, and it's 1:30, but it's made my day better. So thank you to you and Stephanie and the forager Kevin, wherever he's out in Hobbitville right now.
If you need a forager, Kevin will be your forager.
My challenge is for you guys to watch a little Rocky tonight.
Oh, yes.
And keep it moving. But thanks for the opportunity to jump on. And anytime, be happy to do it.
We will definitely call on you again. Thank you, Trevor. Love you.
Thanks, guys.
He's amazing.
So good.
Trevor Moawad, of course, the
author
of It Takes What It Takes. If you want to get his book, it's available wherever books are sold. I love Win the Wait.
Love it.
And
we had someone in the chat accidentally put Win the Wait, WEIGHT. And I was like, and he's like, oh, that was wrong. And I said,
we got to win that too.
We got to win that too.
I know, we got to win a lot of things. But I think what a great kind of title for this show, How to Win the Wait, right?
We will update that.
Yeah. Or like the negativity diet, like, because the truth is like he said, these things we're consuming are so powerful to our psyche, and our immune system gets lowered by it too. So that's why I'm glad he felt the same way. I'm glad we get to do this, because this is like my therapy, and I feel like it's going to be a great positive outlet for all of us together. To be better.
Yes.
Together. And a shout out to Gina at Cedar Sinai for the amazing Faith Over Fear line. So as I, of course, preach the be prepared so that you aren't caught with your pants down, because there are certain things that you do have to prepare for. Like, in my opinion, as like ultimate producer, since I've been little, have to think about the loved ones and how you are going to take care of them in a moment of crisis, but then have faith for the things that you can't control. You have to leave it to God. Just remind him.
Yes.
So you're leaving this one to him. And let's all think about how we're going to win the wait. And what was the other one? It was win the wait and wait the something.
I'll have to find it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's just all focus on how to win the wait.
I'm focused on my negativity diet.
That too. I'm going to put that into action today.
Yes.
I am not going to watch any more news today. I'm going to try to just have fun, maybe take a nap. And I think what he said was right. Like, we don't have to have that same kind of pressure, but let's win the wait. I think that's a great way to do it.
It is kind of cool. It's like, I do see people like you and I, obviously, and we saw John Legend going live, and he said Russell Wilson, and it's like we are in our like kind of sweats, hangout clothes, but we're here to just come together. So it is a little less. Oh yeah, Maria's been killing the sweatpants game. Are those Uggs?
Those are vintage Uggs because it was raining and they're going to protect my feet. Normally I have my Adidas slippers that Max has bitten into and look haggard. So if you look at my TikTok video, it's a hot mess.
Hashtag bring back the Uggs.
But P.S. I wasn't trying to be fashionable there, and I wasn't trying to be a great dancer. So I'm just trying to have fun.
Love it.
But yeah, I think this is a really good message for today, and we'll be back tomorrow as well. Hopefully with Dr. Royal. We'll see, because I really want to get information on pets during this
Dr. Royal or
crisis.
Bethany Frankel, we have a lot of great guests lined up. So many people that are giving us advice in all the areas, because this is going to affect all the areas.
Yep.
So stay tuned, and we'll be on at Maria Menounos. We'll always update who our guest is and when we're going to go live.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk to Tony Robbins about coming on, and AJ Gupta, who is a financial guru. Tony featured in his book Money Master the Game and Unshakable. If you have not read them, download them or buy them instantly. They are amazing reads and really important right now. And so I think what an amazing opportunity to read Money Master the Game. It's only 600 pages, but use this time to become self-empowered. so that when we do have money on the other side, we know what to do with it. But yeah, I think Tony's going to be a great guest. AJ will be a great guest. I want to get a parenting expert on, or a great teacher that can teach us how to handle our kids at home. So we're going to be continuing to think of ideas for the show to help you guys and to help all of us together. But in the meantime, let's win the weight. Be nice people, make good choices, and be present.